God damn it. It's such a small channel that I have to do this. Gore Vidal versus, I don't know that one. Yes, okay. Bernie Sanders versus Robert F. Kennedy. This, I think, was in their disposition for him to become, I think I said that wrong. This is when they were questioning him about when he was going to become a cabinet member to vote for him. I love this guy's facial tics and all this stuff. This guy's
all
amazing.
right.
See what you got, buddy?
Prescription drugs. We're going to make America healthy. I agree with you that we need a revolution in the nature of food in America. Physical exercise, etc. Very important. But there are people who are gonna get sick, and they have to go to the doctor to find out why. 1 out of 4 Americans today cannot afford the prescription drugs that the doctors prescribe because we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. We made some progress under the Biden administration of negotiating.
Wasn't that with the insulin cap, right? Like, didn't they cap insulin at like $25 or $35? And now Trump's already undone that, like a fucking dick.
Prescription drug prices with pharma. First time that's ever happened. Now, yesterday, you told me that the White House was going to issue something affirming their support of continuing those Medicare negotiations. Turned out not to be quite accurate. They came up with some blends.
Thanks to RFK, I cannot get a COVID shot without a doctor's prescription for legitimate specific need. Yeah, dude, RFK is a fucking hack. He's actually probably the worst thing. Like, as much as I don't like Trump and as much as I think Trump is a piece of shit, I think there are 3 people far more. Bye! Have yourself a wonderful day. Love you too. As much as I don't like Trump, I mean, at the end of the day, Trump's just a fucking idiot, right? Like, you don't have to worry too much about Trump really fucking up too much shit. But what you do have to worry about is J.D. Vance, who is politically effective, who can hold conversations very well, and can be quite charming when he wants to be. And he is decently rhetorical. Like rhetorically, he's pretty well. He's pretty good. Like, as much as I want to say Tim Walz won their debate, and as much as I prefer Tim Walz over J.D. Vance looked better in that debate performance than Tim Walz did. J.D. Vance is scary to me. If J.D. Vance was president, I feel like he could do a lot more damage. And then obviously Tulsi Gabbard is way more dangerous for us than I would even argue Donald Trump is, because there's clear evidence that I wouldn't say evidence. It's highly suggested, based off of reporting, that she was in bed and colluding with Russia in various different ways. And she has great relationships with terrible people around the globe. And then RFK Jr. is probably the very worst person that made it into our cabinet. I think that's like the most dangerous thing that we've done in the Trump administration. It's not just that Trump is bad, it's that some of the people he put into power is pretty bad. Like, as much as I don't like Marco Rubio, at the very least, he's probably the most rational out of the whole bunch of people that are behind him. It's fucking crazy.
Statement could have been written by pharma. Very specific question. Do you believe, and will you insist, that Medicare continue to negotiate prices with the pharmaceutical industry so we can substantially lower prescription drug costs in America? President Trump has made it very clear to me that he wants to negotiate.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That's not right, dude. You should never laugh at a person for that shit. That's not right, dude. That's not right. We're fucked. Yes, and cultural heroin. Exactly, Ricardo.
Negotiate the price.
Negotiate is a big word, Bobby. It's a big word.
It's the word you just used, Senator. But no, I used defend a particular law. Will you defend the law in the Inflation Reduction Act, which already is negotiating prescription drug prices?
President Trump wants us to negotiate drug pricing.
So you're not telling me.
Yes. The problem with him is he is a snake in the grass and will deceive openly to further his agenda. While, you know what? I have proof of this. I'm going to prove you right, boss. I'm going to prove you 100% right. Okay, don't laugh at bad guys. I agree, but maybe not for their medical problems. But I mean, it's still fucking hilarious. I'm just a monster. I'll accept my evil. JD Vance, cats and dogs. JD Vance has to openly admit that this right here,
just once and for all,
this is like the most dangerous thing a politician has ever said, I think, other than like we're going to war. This is fucking insane. This man right here is more dangerous than Donald Trump will ever be. Listen to this rationale right here. This,
just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the...
Okay. So what he's saying here is first-hand accounts. Yep. It's okay as long as if people believe it. Yep. That's pretty much what he's about to say. Like, we need to teach people to critically analyze the information they're receiving. What this guy is saying, though it sounds pleasant, it sounds easy to digest, is fucking evil.
The American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who...
By the way, I lived 5 minutes from Springfield, Ohio, when this was going on. I lived in Dayton, Ohio. And before Dayton, Ohio, I lived in Springfield, Ohio. I worked in Springfield, Ohio, okay, while this was happening.
Hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their...
See, one, this has nothing to do with the statement she just asked him. This is the thing that MAGA does constantly. You bring up like, hey, well, what about the thing in Ukraine? And then Biden will say, or not Biden, Trump will say, Ukraine should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. Russia would have never invaded. This is Biden's war. And you're like, this has nothing to do with the statement. Answer the fucking question, you actual... You monster.
Children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to...
Oh, so he's talking about cat memes and he brought attention to an issue. So that's okay. Why it's a lot okay to lie on a national stage and actually be racist in the process. Cool. Fuck you, bro. How did this guy get elected?
Stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to...
Yeah, I gotta put my 2 cents into this.
Just a meme.
Create stories so that the...
If I have to create stories...
Just a meme.
Create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coach.
So he just said, if I have to lie to get what I want, I'm going to do it. This man is disgusting. This man should never be trusted whatsoever He just said truth is not the objective in what he's doing. He's openly advocated for lying to people because it fits the means in which that he wants to do. If telling you is beautiful gives you all of the money that you have, he's going to take it. He'll tell you all the pretty things you want to hear. We call that manipulation. Okay? That's manipulation. That's lying. That's evil. That's something that Republicans have talked about as being bad for years. But when it comes to their side doing it, they don't give a fuck.
That you will defend the law that we passed. It's already had significant success.
Well, Congress, look, I'm gonna comply with the law, Senator. Congress passed the law. I'm swearing an oath to the Constitution. I'm gonna comply with the law.
You're going to have significant influence on healthcare policy if you are.
I'm gonna comply with the law.
Let me just say this in conclusion. Chairman Cassidy. President Trump and Mr. Kennedy are quite right when they say that our system is broken.
When their side's doing it, they don't give a fuck. Sums up most politics. I agree, but I don't agree. You can see that on the left. Hell, I'm on the left, and I'm willing to say that Tim Walz got his ass beat in that debate, despite the fact that I want Tim Walz to win, and despite the fact I like Tim Walz. That's just one example. The left cannibalizes itself a lot. We saw that in the election. We saw that over Israel-Palestine. We see that every day when any one of these leftist people come out and they start criticizing the Democrats. The right just doesn't do it to their side. When people try to say both parties are the same, it's not true. And it hasn't been true for a while. It might have been true at one point, and maybe it's true for the citizens, but right now, the politicians and the leaders of those parties are not the same thing as the others. It's just not true. Now, I guess at least in 25 at least, I remember being told that a certain president was going to declare martial law and deploy military in Texas. Well, that's true. And he was wrong for that. I spoke out up against Biden, what he was doing. At the end of the day, Biden didn't have the right to employ, what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't have the right to deploy the troops there. That was a constitutional crisis on Biden's part. And I saw a lot of people talking about that in great detail. At the end of the day, the state has the right to govern its borders the way that it is, I believe. So I think that there is some purview of the actual border, the federal border, I believe. That one's sticky. But yes, Biden fucked up there. Simple as that. You just say fucked up. You don't have to try to defend it. You don't have to try and run defense for him. It's that simple. That's all a Republican has to do. Like, hey man, is it cool that Donald Trump pardoned 1,600 violent insurrectionists? No. There we go. Moving on. You know what I mean? But like the fact that these people go like I was referencing Jade Helm. Oh. I don't know that one. I know that like between Abbott and Biden was doing some shit. But I don't remember exactly how it went down. I'd have to look more into that before I speak. But I remember that Abbott had some leg to stand on because, like, at the end of the day, you can't send the National Guard to a country unless it's a state of emergency to a state unless the state asks for it. And, you know, state rights should matter. Now, it's not my team that says that, you know, we're all about state rights. That's the conservatives. But yes, I do believe in the state's autonomy to govern itself in as much as it can.
Broken, they're right. Our economic system today is broken. 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Wages have been stagnant for American workers for 50 years. The economy is broken. You know what? Our political system is broken and corrupt. You have a handful of billionaires in both political parties who contribute huge amounts of money to elect candidates in this room throughout the United States Congress.
that is a broken political system and a real threat to democracy. Our healthcare system is broken. And it's broken for some of the reasons that Mr. Kennedy indicated.
That's something that happens a lot. Hell, even the red pill movement will do this. Where they get a kernel of truth, and then they use that kernel of truth to spread out a web of lies. So it's based in a fact, and if you know it's based in a fact, the surrounding stuff might sound better. That's why a lot of people try to use stats and statistics falsely. It's how people can use the anti-vax stuff and spread out a lot. Like, we covered a video yesterday that I plan on uploading today about a guy trying to say anti-vax stuff, like the vaccines are causing an absorbent amount of deaths outside of normal parameters. And yes, you can cherry pick like a thing, and then with that tiny little morsel of truth, you can build it into a massive meal of bullshit that people are willing to digest because they know there's a little. You know what I mean? It's like getting a burger, but like instead of a nice side, you got nothing but broccoli. You know what I mean? And like you got to eat like mountains of broccoli to get to that cheeseburger. But you know when you get to that cheeseburger, you're like, yeah, that little morsel of truth right there is what people cling to, but then the surrounding information around it will be corrupted. And it's bullshit.
We have not paid attention to the fact that we have massive amounts of chronic disease. We have not asked the question why, in the richest country in the history of the world, our life expectancy is lower than it is in countries far poorer than we are. So I think in many ways President Trump and Mr. Kennedy have asked some of the right questions. Problem is, their answers will only make a bad situation worse. So let me ask Mr. Kennedy again. If we want to make America healthy, will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on the earth does? Guarantee health care to every single American.
I'm gonna make America healthier than other countries in the world. Right now, we're the sickest.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? It's a simple question, Bobby.
And by the way,
I don't see, that's a rough one because I don't think he has the power to do that. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, he can't just make medical stuff free for everybody. That's a little outside of the parameter within his job title.
Bernie, you know, the problem with corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
No.
And protecting
No.
their interests.
I thought that would. No. I ran for president. Like you, I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives. Not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry.
It's such a crazy story. Can you imagine in 2016 if it was Bernie Sanders versus Trump? He would have mopped the floor with him. And we would have avoided all of this unhinged bullshit. We are in the wrong timeline, folks.
Came from workers.
2020, you were the single largest receiver
Because I had
of pharmaceutical money.
contributions from workers all over this country.
Yeah.
Workers.
So, like, yeah, okay, so what's happening here is incredibly disingenuous. So, like, if you work for an industry, we'd have flying cars and shit. If you work for an industry, let's say, like, you work at Amazon or something, or, like, you're a doctor or whatever. For some reason, I don't know why we do this, maybe I need to look into this, we lump in the donations of employees as if it's coming from like the entity itself. I don't know why we do that. I think I should look into that because that's a little ridiculous. Like, so for example, he's trying to pin the fact that like doctors were donating, or like nurses or people within the medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry donating to Bernie Sanders. He had a bunch of small donations. A majority of the donations that made it to Bernie Sanders in both of his presidential runs in the last 2020 and 2016, I think were around $5 to $10. I don't think there was like, I think that was the average. Meanwhile, you have people like we need to cleanse. I'm telling you, man. And like, but see, the fact that Kennedy is even lying about this, he took a kernel of truth because it's registered as an entity of this corporation, but like when you dig into the details say something else. So it's disingenuous. It's lying. Cool. I'm glad I did that whole little kernel of truth thing, and then it literally happened in real time. Awesome.
You were the
Not a nickel from corporate tax.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical
No, from
dollars.
workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question. You have not answered my question.
Mr. Chairman, we're
How do you make America? How do you make America
I asked
healthy
you a
if you don't
question.
guarantee health care for all people?
Senator, we're literally 3 minutes
So
over
we're a lot
here
of
now.
other people.
How long does it keep going? At some time you're just battering the witness, Bernie.
I'm not battering the witness. I'm trying to get an answer.
Yes, you are, and you're getting...
I do like that he commits, man. I do like that he commits to it. Like the Jordan Peterson one I uploaded kind of sounded like Jordan Peterson. It wasn't all the way there, but it was pretty close. And he's not using AI to do this. This is just him fucking around. He could use AI voice models and stuff to like change his voice, but he's like just putting in his effort. He doesn't care if it's 100%. This is why the good thing about AI when it comes out, soon AI will come out and everything will be perfect and pristine and like it'll be, and then we'll get back to the era when grunge was its most powerful. We'll get back to the area where humans start to enjoy the imperfections. And imperfections are beautiful because they are human by design. I love it.
upsetting him. You're going at him just like anybody else would.
Come to order. We'll come to order. We'll come to order.
Bernie's gone over.
God damn. Oh, I guess we should have changed the colors. We're switched to full cane right now, boys. That's what we're gonna do.